In this tutorial in CyberLink PowerDirector, we're going to show you how to cause a person on the screen to exit dramatically, disappearing in thunder and lightning. Please look at the following example, and then we'll show you how to do that. One of the things you have to keep in mind as you film something like this is you must make sure you're working on a tripod. You can't have any zoom, and you can't have anything move in the scene as you do the shot. So the first footage you need is basically the footage of the area. In this case, it's a room and a home, and so I'm going to take my one video and drag it on track number 1. And this is just a boring shot of this particular area. Now I'm going to have to fix and enhance this. I'm going to change my lighting adjustment because it came out blue. We're going to do some post-production. I'll just crank it up 100% and then we're fine. So I've got a better screen here to work with. But all the first track is a still shot for X number of seconds of that room with nobody in it. Then I took a similar shot when I put my talent in the room. That's my number 3. And in this case, I've already done a pre-cut, so I'm going to click on the folder in the lower right corner of 3 MP4, and I'll take my pre-cut and I'll drag that down into track number 2. Now this suffers from the same reality, so I'm going to click on Fix Enhance, change my lighting adjustment again on that one and crank that up to 100%, and then we're done with that. So now I have my area here where I have my 1 and my 3. Now 3 in the default stacking order were overlay 1. What we're going to do is we're going to use that advantage to use some opacity values to cause this person to disappear at a certain point in time, and yet the background, since it's static, although it's video static, will stay the same. So I'm going to move to the place here where the person on the footage has their arms raised high, maybe something like there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to change the opacity value. Just for fun, I'm going to set a timeline marker, and I will call this transition and click on OK. Okay, so this is where everything starts to change. So what I'm going to do is double click on my track number 2 with the talent in it, and once I'm in my pip designer, I have my marker here as well. I'm going to click an opacity value there, and the default is 100%, as you see on the left. And then I'm going to move over just a couple of frames. I can use the period key to move right. Just a few frames is fine. And then I set another opacity value, and this time I'm going to crank the opacity down to 0. I could almost go down to maybe a 8% and then down to a 0 if I want. It really doesn't matter. It will give you a slightly different effect. It's different than if someone just poof disappears. They fade for a little bit and then they go away. So let's back up a few frames and we'll play this and we'll look at how the opacity works here. Raising his hands and poof, gone. I like that, where there's a little bit of a change over here. I think it's a little more sophisticated. So now what we're going to do, we have our opacity keyframes here that we see reflected in our timeline. We're going to do something else here. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to do unlink video and audio. And then we're going to just delete the audio. I don't need the audio track. I'm going to mute the audio, by the way, in the first case because I don't need that. So we're going to mute the audio. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some lightning and some thunder. I have a thunder audio clip. I'm going to take that and drag it down, and we're going to put it right here at the same time marker where the thunder hits when they disappear. Or maybe, let me magnify this just a little bit. Maybe I would like the thunder just a couple frames before. So we'll take the thunder and we'll notch it back maybe just a couple frames. That might work better. And let's see what this looks like and sounds like when we play it. try that again and see if we're good on timing. Okay, now we have thunder. Let's add some lightning. Now, in order to do lightning on a separate track, an effect track, you need to create an effect track in your timeline. To do that, you can right-click on any empty space in the timeline. And I'm going to enlarge it here so you can see the submenus we're working with here. I'm going to right-click and I'm going to do Add Tracks, and I want an effect track, and I'll slide over and do the number 1. Above track 4, I'm going to put mine above track 3. If it will let me, it will. And click on OK. Now I have an effect track right here. We'll give ourselves back to the normal room here. So right under the thunder, we have an effect track where we're going to put lightning. So in order to do that, I need to go to my effect room. I'll click on that. And in this case, I'm going to pick a lightning that I think most people have. I've already typed in LIGH here on the search bar, and let me press enter, and that gives me all the ones that have LIGH, and I'm going to use this lightning 3D. I'll take and drag and drop that down at the same place here on my effect track. Now we're going to see what it looks like without my modifying it. If we play this, now we're going to have thunder and lightning. Okay, that works kind of okay, but let's modify it some more. What I want to do is click on that, click on the Modify button, and we're going to change something about it. We're going to change the size of it. I want to make it a little smaller. Okay, and we can change the X and Y offset. Let's put it where we see it with the talent on the screen. And I think I may even back it up a little bit, looks like. Okay, and what I want to do is change it again. I'll click on Modify, and we're going to change the X offset a little bit to the right. There we go. We're also going to change the mask area for it. Okay, there's what we have right now. Do I need to make that smaller? I don't want any lightning to creep out too much far left and right. That looks pretty good. I can even mask it a little bit at the bottom if I want to. Let's draw it up just a little bit. Okay. All right, and click on OK. And I'm going to change the size down from 63 maybe to a 60. All right, so we'll close that out. And we'll go back here to our media room. And we'll click again on our timeline. We've got our thunder and we've got our lightning. Let's see how it works. Okay, now what we want to do is shorten that a little bit. Let's make it so it disappears slightly after. And we can actually get into the effect and keyframe the whole thing. We won't do that for brevity in the case of this lesson here. Let's see what it looks like now. Okay, let's try and play it. Okay, now I also have some music I've added that we'll try to see how that fits in. I'm going to activate that track. So we have some edgy music going in on this entire clip. Go back to the beginning. Okay, and let's see what we have. And we have sound, visuals, disappearance, and background music. Okay, so that's what we have when we are using these tools to create a dramatic exit in CyberLink PowerDirector.